Hello, I'm PS3 and welcome back to the video. So one of the fun consequences of Minecraft on the Xbox now being the universal version of Minecraft is that this version of Minecraft is receiving updates and receiving new features before any other version, or at least at the same time as any other version, and this means that brand new features really could come to this version first. It's worth suggesting things that have never been done before because that's what the Minecraft team are exactly looking to do, and that's why I think it'd be useful to do another one of these crafting recipes we need in Minecraft video, because there are so many crafting recipes that just make so much sense that just haven't necessarily been thought of by a developer before. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 15 crafting recipes I think Minecraft needs, most of which are serious, some of which are fun, and all of which I hope you do all enjoy in today's video. So like this video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel, and let's know you do enjoy these crafting recipe you need videos, because I think they're a lot of fun, and I think they're a really useful way to think about how crafting recipes in Minecraft are meant to be this be-all end-all way to make things, but there's a lot of ones that just haven't necessarily, come up yet, or haven't been thought of, that I really think should be, like this very first one, which is the ability to take a stick and a piece of leaf, so, using shears to take the leaf, to make a oak sapling, or make a sapling, or whatever leaf you're actually using there, and this one is one which makes a ton of sense, because again, there's no way to craft the sapling right now. You might argue maybe there shouldn't be one, but this is a really funny recipe for it, and it also gives you the, amazing power of being able to actually create saplings from nowhere if you have the leaf. So have you ever had the problem where you chop down your one tree you have in the world, or, playing Skyblock, or you have one tree just around, you chop it down, it doesn't drop any saplings? Well, I guess you're kind of done for. Well, with this, you can guarantee you will get saplings, and I think it's a more fun mechanic than randomly hoping that, you just happen to get something. And I think it's way better to guarantee you can get something using this recipe right here. And there's also a similar recipe for the grass block. So again, grass block right now requires silk touch if you want to get it, and although that's kind of fun, it has its own benefits, I feel like what would be way more fun than that would be using dirt and seeds, because the thing about the grass block is it's not actually that powerful. You get it every now and then because Endermen drop it in Minecraft, and you're like, oh, what do I do with these? Not really too much. So most people wouldn't be crafting this, but if you did need to turn a whole bunch of dirt into grass, you could do it with this a whole lot easier than the current system, which is either go all the way to get a, silk touch, or you have to come all the way back and you have to, hope you kill an Enderman with one. I think this would make things so much better. For stuff where you have like my sugarcane farm, which took me like maybe a year to get grass from the ground floor to the top, it'd be so much better, so much easier to just have a system where you can craft a grass block if you really need to. Whether this is the recipe or something else, it's just an easy crafting recipe you add to the game. It makes most people's lives unaffected, but it makes that 1% who are building with dirt so much better, and having a more attractive builds is something which is good for everyone. So moving on from that, we also have a recipe for the lily pad, because the lily pad is a similar situation where it's a rare block to find. If you don't know, lily pads are actually a non-renewable resource in Minecraft, so once you find all the lily pads in your Minecraft world, you shear them up, all the lily pads are gone. There's no way to get any more of them. There's only one way to find them in that first place, and I feel like, most people aren't using these, and most people don't care about that fact, so why not turn it into something that's kind of fun, where you can actually craft lily pads? So maybe getting 4 lily pads for 8 seeds might be too much. Maybe get like 2 lily pads instead, or 1 lily pad, but having a way to actually turn your seeds into lily pad is great on both sides of the equation. The first one is that you probably have too many seeds anyway, why not craft them into something? And the second one is you can't get enough lily pads. If you want to make hundreds or thousands to make a lily pad bridge, which by the way actually looks pretty good, then this would be a great recipe for that. And finally, we also have turning or not finally, we have another recipe which is really useful in the same vein, which is being able to reverse craft wool back into full string. There are lots of situations where you have wool and you want to turn it back into string, and a lot of people don't even know that you can turn string into wool, but it's one of the most useful recipes that can save your life some nights. Well, what if the reverse is true? What if you really need a bow for something but you just can't get one? It'd be nice if you could just shear a sheep and then take that piece of wool and use that to get it instead. Again, it's a really simple recipe suggestion, but I feel like if they added this to the game, it would really help out people who just need those simple, one-time recipes. You want a fishing rod? Just decraft your wool, and again, you don't have to go kill a spider, which would be pretty great. So then we also got one here, which I think is just a tiny nice one, but it's actually kind of great, because taking a piece of stone and taking a diamond to make a diamond door could be a really great way to either one, multiply diamonds, so it can make it so once you're at that point in the game, instead of having to silk touch blocks and doing it that way, you could actually just make your own diamond door, which again, then you could fortune to pick up a pickaxe app and actually get a whole bunch more. Again, maybe that makes the game too easy, but also there's the whole benefit of just being able to have a lot of diamond door from a little bit of things, and yeah, having a diamond door being made like this just seems like it makes sense. Maybe we'd be nerfing silk touch by making a diamond door like this, but I think this recipe right here is one that's pretty darn powerful. So moving on from that, here is a really fun one that I think, because these ones have been just logical stuff. What about fun recipes that could really mix up the Minecraft game? Well, I think this is a really good one. The idea of having water TNT. So right now there's one TNT recipe in Minecraft, and honestly, I think the Minecraft team regret making it just a little bit, because it's used for so much griefing, it causes so much problems, and how many times are you using TNT legit in survival? Not that much. So what if we made water TNT? Because one of the big problems I always run into personally, and maybe you can agree with this, is the fact that, you know, so when you want to place a lot of water, you have to make a whole dirt layer, then you have to place, you know, water over it manually. It takes such a long time to cover an area in water because placing water at multiple levels is really, really tricky. Well, what if we had water TNT, which could cover something like a 5x5 area? Let's call it a reverse sponge for now. You know, it's like a reverse sponge. It can take, you know, it can take an area with no water and just fill it with water entirely. You place a few of these, you explode those, and then you can have a giant river or something like that. Again, the only issue is it has the same griefing potential. I think a whole lot less griefing because water isn't that big of a deal. But still, the fact that it has the tiniest bit of griefing potential would be a problem. But I think the fact that it could cause, you know, allow you to build rivers or build these giant things, build water features, which I've been having a lot of fun doing recently, would be really great in my opinion. So yeah, new TNT, in particular water TNT, would be a really great one in my opinion. So then we've also got, moving on from that, a few new food types I think we should have, because honestly, at this point in Minecraft, not every food has a purpose. And although you can say like, well, I mean, at one point it had a purpose, there's a lot of food types where it's like, oh yeah, you'll make that because you need to. And if we kind of agree that there's more food than we need, why not make a lot more food than we need? So you can make some fun recipes and you can have some fun foods that you discover one day because you're like, oh, that's kind of a thing. So I'd recommend adding these like secretly in an update so people are just like really surprised that they're there, because if they're big features, then people will be disappointed. But if they just happen one day, it'd be a really nice surprise to find something like an apple pie. So the apple pie could be crafted like this: 2 apples, an egg, and a sugar. And I think it'd be a really great recipe because it would allow you to make, you know, again, a brand new type of pie. We got the pumpkin pie, which is just like a few two tricky ingredients. Well, this apple pie would give you a use for your apples other than golden apples, because, you know, golden apples are useful and stuff, but how often do they come up? Not really that much. Well, apple pies would be a great use for your apples. Admittedly, you know, eggs and sugar are something you might not have in excess of, but still, the fact that you could take your apples, make something great, and you could even make, because 2 apples are hard to come by, you can make this a really good food. You can make it equivalent to, like, you know, a beef, like a, you know, like a cooked pork chop or something like that. And if you did that, then you'd have a really good source of food, and you'd make something that some people would craft sometimes, and it would be just fun to see, like, oh, that guy's eating apple pie, in my opinion at least. So if you think that that apple pie idea is a bit too silly, then you might agree this next one is too, because this is the fish pie idea. So it's just the same kind of recipe, but removing the sugar, and also, you know, so it's just fish, wheat, and eggs. And yeah, this would give you a fish pie recipe, which again, you could make it like roughly the same as fish, or make it the next level of fish. Again, I like the idea of like, oh yeah, so you catch a fish, then you cook the fish, then you turn it into a pie, and you could at each stage of that, you get a slightly better, you know, more healing fish. I think that'd be great. And the same could be true for a salmon pie. Salmon pie could be one of the best foods in the game, because you know, finding and catching a salmon, kind of tricky. You know, having a wheat farm enough to make that much wheat, kind of tricky. Having loads of eggs, kind of a tricky thing. Having all things to three things together could be a more complex type of food that either gives more saturation, like the golden carrot. So, you know, I think a fun way to do this would be like, oh yeah, this only restores, you know, 2.5 bits of hunger, but it restores the most saturation in the game. Something like that. It'd be fun to have more recipes with more types of stuff, so that the food game in Minecraft could be mixed up. Because honestly, what I just do now is I have either golden carrots if I'm feeling really fancy, or before that I have cooked pork chops or cooked steak. Why not make it so that there are better recipes for people who are willing to go through the effort? I think that's a good idea, and I think it's something that would be great to add to the game. So now we're going to move on from that to just stuff that's like, you know, I've wanted these sometimes, and maybe you should have them. So water, lava bucket, make obsidian. Well, sometimes you don't want to go through all the effort of a diamond pickaxe, because you can make a nether portal using obsidian. You just can't get the obsidian in your inventory. Why not make it so if you're willing to sacrifice your bucket, you know, 2 buckets that is, you can get some obsidian. This would be so handy for making particularly enchantment tables, and I would really love this one personally. You know, whether you can argue it's, maybe it balances the game in some way that you don't like, but I love this one personally. And I also love this one right here, which is water plus 4 snowballs to make ice. You know, having ice in Minecraft is something which I really value, but it's kind of hard to come by. You need to get the silk touch again. Maybe we're devaluing silk touch with all these things, but I feel like having a recipe like this would be quite useful, because ice is slippery, it makes some fun stuff, and you can also use it for some of the fastest transport in the game. Moving on from that, we've got a few jokey suggestions. We're going to go towards the end here and just say like, well, would it be great if we had a cake, but the cake, instead of being a normal cake, was an explosive cake? Again, I feel like if we have TNT anyway, why not have like a trap for TNT? So most people wouldn't, you know, try to eat this cake. They'd say it's a little bit off. You'd have to check the cherries on your cake, and you'd be like, wait a minute, that's an explosive cake. And you can make it really fun. Like, it doesn't just explode when you eat one slice, it explodes when you eat the whole thing. So like, everyone's eating their slices, and they're getting really good food from it, and then the last guy to eat a slice has it explode. So there's a fun idea, have explosive cake. And a way better idea in my opinion is having the enchanted golden apple cake. So the enchanted golden apple is the best food in Minecraft right now, because it gives you all the effects and it takes 8 gold blocks. Why not make it so if you bake that into a cake, you get something very slightly better? You get like 1/7 of the effect at a time. Because honestly, I have enchanted golden apples in my Minecraft world all the time, but I never want to eat them. Like, you make one and then you're like, should I eat this? And the answer is always no, because you don't want to undo that much effort in one bite. Bear in mind, that's like over a stack of gold you'd be eating just to get those those 8 minutes of things, and in survival Minecraft, you don't need that. However, if you had near your Wither Fight base, or you had near something, the Nether, you know, just like the Enchanted Golden Cake, you can make it like, you know, I'll treat myself to 1 bite and I'll get 1 minute of extreme, you know, fire resistance and this and that, and I think that'd be a really fun way to make the Enchanted Golden Apple a more fun recipe. So that's 5 food types. You can tell I'm hungry as I make this video, but let's just talk about a couple of recipes that everyone suggests all the time, and I think they're terrible ideas, but I laughed a little bit at them, and maybe you do too. So here is how you would make an iPhone in Minecraft. As you can see, it's nothing but, you know, glass with 1 button, and funnily enough, another use for Apple, because it's an Apple iPhone. Ha ha ha, you get it? Yeah, good stuff. So, and then also we have the Nokia, which is of course made from bedrock and buttons. So we could have a new tier of combat in Minecraft. You know, the sword does the most damage right now, but the Nokia could be an instant one-hit kill, because that's of course how the Nokia works. Or you could use it as a mining technique to go straight down to bedrock. I know, insert joke about Nokia's being at bedrock here, but I kind of like these ideas, and everyone's always suggesting like phones in Minecraft. It's a terrible idea, but if you had to have them in the game, well, this is how they would be crafted, right? So yeah, there is 13 crafting recipes we need, plus 2 kind of joking ones. Hopefully you did all enjoy this video. You can like it if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot. Lets know you do like this sort of thing, and also lets anyone who watches this video, you know, who happens to be from Microsoft, know that these are the sorts of things that you would like to see as well. I feel like some of these are really useful, some of them are really fun, and some of them just make the game pure better, and I'd like to hear what you think in the comments down below about all of those things. But for now, I hope you all enjoyed this video, because I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.